Right now, try not to think about your front door. Don't picture it. Don't think about its color, its shape, the handle. You just did. And that's the whole problem with forgetting. You know this feeling. Someone says a name and tells you to forget it, and now it's stuck. You break up with someone and tell yourself, I'm done thinking about this. 3 days later, you're replaying a conversation from 8 months ago at 2 a.m. You tell yourself, stop thinking about the embarrassing thing you said in that meeting. And somehow, it gets louder, not quieter. It's like your mind heard forget and translated it into rehearse. Here's what's actually happening inside your head. To forget something on command, your brain has to do something strange. It has to check, again and again, whether you're still thinking about it. Am I thinking about the door? No. Good. Am I thinking about the door now? No. Good. But to check whether you're thinking about something, you have to think about it. Just for a second. Just enough to confirm it's not there. So the act of monitoring the absence of a thought requires bringing back the thought itself. It's like trying to check if a room is empty by turning the light on. The moment you check, you've filled it. Psychologists call this the white bear problem, based on an old experiment where people were told, for the next 5 minutes, don't think about a white bear. Ring a bell every time you do. The bells rang constantly, far more than for people who were never told anything about a bear at all. But here's the part that matters more. After the experiment ended and the rule was lifted, the white bear group thought about the bear even more than before. The suppression didn't just fail. It built pressure. And when the pressure was released, the thought came back stronger than if they'd never tried to suppress it at all. This is called the rebound effect. Suppression doesn't erase a thought, it compresses it. And compressed things expand when you let go. This is why heartbreak doesn't fade when you try to push it down. It waits. Why the embarrassing memory doesn't disappear when you tell yourself stop thinking about it. It just goes quiet for a moment, then returns at 1 a.m. with interest. Your mind doesn't have a delete button. It only has a move to a different room button. And the door to that room doesn't lock. It has a habit of swinging back open, usually right when you're trying to sleep. There's something else going on, something almost cruel in its design. The harder something is to think about, the more painful, awkward, or shameful, the more your brain tags it as important. Not because it wants to torture you, because pain, evolutionarily, used to mean danger. And danger is exactly the kind of thing your brain is built to never let go of. So the very fact that a memory hurts is the reason your brain refuses to file it away quietly. It treats emotional intensity like a red flag stapled to the memory, saying, "Don't lose this one. This one matters for survival." Except now it's not a tiger. It's something you said on a video call. But your ancient memory system doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a small humiliation. It just knows. This came with a spike of feeling, so keep it close. This explains something most people never connect. Why you remember a stranger's rude comment from years ago in perfect detail, but can't remember what you had for lunch last Tuesday. The lunch had no emotional charge. The insult did. Your brain wasn't trying to ruin your week. It was trying to protect you, using a system built for a world that no longer exists. Here's the part that changes everything. The problem was never the memory. The problem was the fight against the memory. When you try to suppress a thought, you're essentially telling your brain, this thought is dangerous, hide it. And your brain, being very literal, responds by keeping a closer watch on it. Not less. More. So the people who suffer longest from intrusive memories aren't the ones who think about them the most on purpose. They're the ones who try hardest not to. There's a strange kind of peace that researchers noticed when they studied people who simply let a thought sit there, unedited, without trying to push it out. The thought still came, but it came less often and faded faster, because nothing was reinforcing it. No suppression, no alarm bell, no don't think about the bear. It's almost unfair how simple this is. The thing you've been doing to get rid of a memory, fighting it, shoving it down, refusing to look at it, is the exact mechanism keeping it alive. It's like trying to let go of a rope by pulling harder. The grip doesn't loosen, it tightens. And what actually loosens a memory's hold isn't more willpower. It's the absence of resistance. You let it appear. You don't argue with it. You don't punish yourself for having it. And slowly, without ceremony, it stops needing to come back so often. Not because you forced it out, because you stopped feeding it urgency. So maybe forgetting was never the goal. Maybe what you actually wanted, every time you told yourself, stop thinking about this, was for it to stop hurting. And those are two different things. A memory you've made peace with doesn't disappear. It just stops ringing the bell. The door is still there. You just stop checking if it's locked.